Hi guys. If you watch any of my videos, I mainly talk about language, but I think it's time that I start talking about other things as well. Um, so basically, I've been learning about marketing just because when you study something like specialized, like I studied applied linguistics, um, it was heavily based on like you know, language. Um, and when you're done school and you start looking for a job, I feel like maybe a lot of us don't know enough about the market and how, you know, to make a lot of income with this kind of work. I think there are some programs like when you go to university where they'll teach you how to start a business, but with linguistics, they don't. You either go on to be like in speech pathology, or um, you teach like English as a second language, which is what I do. Um, and in the event that you don't want to work for the existing language programs, the sort of like the governmental language programs for adults, I feel like you kind of need to know more about business and marketing and stuff like that. Even if you don't want to go ahead and, you know, kind of build an entire center, you still need to advocate for yourself to be known. So some of the words I've been hearing so far in marketing are like, for example, the difference between, I'm reading from my wall, so the difference between advertising, promoting, publicity, and public relations. All of that comprises, all of that makes up marketing. And then something I learned about advertising is, for example, when you advertise a service, in our case, it's a service, to kind of have one flyer or one advertisement. This is one objective per advertisement. So before, when I used to advertise, I used to put like, I can teach you IELTS, TOEFL, SAT, business English, blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, oh my God, you know? So I think what I'm going to do now is just talk about each one separately. And then I'm not very good at promoting myself. As you can see, these videos are not professional yet. I keep saying that, yet. But someday they will be professional. And the other words I've been reading about, or like the difference between a lead and a prospect and a customer. So when someone first gets to know you, that's a lead. Otherwise they don't know you exist. They don't know your, service exists. So first people need to know you. So it does sometimes, sound like a long process, but it's worth it. Doing something for your future self. And then a prospect is someone who starts liking you and liking what you do. Growing up in the West, I don't know, but in general, because you're raised to become independent. So, you don't really care too much if like people don't like you. So I'd say at least people need to like your service. You need to stand out with your service. And then um, once they trust you, they can become a customer and they'll start paying. So I think sometimes like we're in a hurry to like make money and income, but it's a process. So yeah. Um, Something I heard was when you're advertising, you need to sound enthusiastic. Uh, and I talked to my friend about this. She said you sound excited, like to do this, and I'm like, I am, but I don't know, like I don't know how to sound more enthusiastic. I just get excited when I'm teaching ESL and someone gets the point. It's amazing. It's amazing, like the process of learning a second language. Um, I think that's all I have. Oh no, um, one of the books I'm reading says to not just know your customer, but be your customer. So for me, that would be putting myself in the shoes of someone who doesn't speak English, or in the shoes of someone who's learning, a second language. Like, I don't know, French for me would be, something I have not learned. And I'm in a country where a lot of people speak French. Um, so imagine, I guess, being an adult and um, not being able to speak a language in the place where you live. It's yeah. So being your customer means trying to embody who they are, what they do, all of that stuff. I never thought about this like formally before. I do have some empathy like when I work with people, but um I do have a barrier like between me and the people I work with. So this would be a venture. This would be like, spending more time getting to know, my learners. And I don't know. I don't think I've done that before. It's kind of nice actually to be able to do that because it, gets your head out of like the teaching mode into like just being yourself. And because, for people who went through a lot of academics like growing up, you know, you go through school and then college and then blah blah blah. Sometimes it's hard to just be like uh, an everyday citizen. Like get your head out of the student mode or like, the leader mode and the working mode. So I think this is where this would lead me. It says like to ask them where they hang out, what they like to do, where they get their information, their goals are. Goals is something we talk about, but I'm guessing in this case, like general goals. But then with language, you can also ask like, what's English gonna do for you? And then what are your frustrations? There are a bit more questions here. Let me just pull them up. So yeah, where they hang out, where they get their information, their challenges, frustrations, goals and priorities. That's a big one because a lot of people think about learning a language, but they don't make time for it. It's not tangible, and it's not something you can get so quickly. So it does tend to go back to the back burner. what brands do they like, modes of communication, language they use, budget, what their day looks like, what makes them happy. So it's just getting to know them really, And I used to think that sounds a bit, sleazy, just like because you're trying to get to know them for a purpose. But I'll be honest now, like I feel like learning a language is such a good service to like offer, like, or teaching a language is a good service to offer. So you're not really marketing anything that's a scam. You're just, you really will affect someone's life really, like, really positively, like if they can do this. Anyway, so where I'm at now is like, how do you get your prospect or your lead to become a customer, one of the challenges I'm facing is like pricing online because people are in different countries and they pay different amounts of money for different services. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna end this video here and hopefully I'll be sharing more of what I learned about marketing. And goodbye.